Welcome to the first episode of Cohort in Progress. It's a podcast where we're going to talk about bringing academia and practice and putting them together. I'm Kevin Burgess, one of your co-hosts, and joined by
Ashwini Bhaskar. And just like Kevin, I'm also the current DBA student at Fox School of Business. And today we are joined by the big chief himself, Sunil Wattal, who is Associate Dean of Doctoral Programs and Research at Temple School of Business.
He's also a professor of Management Information Systems and a Harold Schaefer Senior Fellow.
Oh, wow.
His CV is like 9 pages long.
Wow.
He's published so many things. He's probably the most modest person I've met.
Sure.
And he's such an incredible guest. And he focuses on, I want to get it right, focuses on online communities, consumer behavior, social media, and the sharing economy. So, Sunil, welcome. And if we had a big live audience, we'd be going crazy.
Crazy, exactly.
So welcome to the show.
So thank you guys. Again, thanks for the generous introduction and also for doing this podcast. Sure. I mean, being the Associate Dean of Research, I like to tell everyone, both the faculty and the students in my school, that research has to be very inclusive.
Right.
In the sense that if the idea of doing research is that you are going to be a thought leader, and the first rule of being a thought leader is that you have to let the world know that you're a thought leader.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And again, the podcast thing through not only through journals and articles, but also through things like podcasts. And so I'm glad you guys are doing it and creating some ideas and introducing them to the world.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. What let's take a step here. A DBA program. Mm-hmm. It's fairly new, especially in the world of academics, right? Like 15 years or so. Is that how long the DBA program's been around?
I mean, ours has been around like 12 years now.
12, okay.
And we were one of the first to start.
First.
Yeah. Right.
So what's a DBA? I think a lot of people don't they think accounting? Isn't accounting like a DBA or something?
Well, people confuse DBA with, are you database administrator?
That's what it is, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, tell us a little bit about why DBA was necessary. I mean, why not just PhD? What was the motivation behind starting a program like this?
Right. I think that's a great question. And DBA is, by the way, it's one of my favorite programs. I love to be associated with the program, and now in my role, I mean, I oversee the program at the Fox School, but I also mentored the students, and in fact, I started mentoring right from the first cohort. So it's been a great experience. I think the DBA serves an important purpose. I mean, very often we talk about in universities that the universities, especially the business schools, and the research we do is kind of disconnected from the industry, and it's not many people know about the research that's going on. So there has to be some kind of a translation between what we do in the business schools and what gets transmitted or transferred to the industry, to the practitioners. Right. So this is one of my favorite quotes from Herbert Simon, who won the Nobel Prize. So he said that industry and academia are like oil and water. They don't. You can shake them, you can force them to be together, but in the end, if you leave them alone, they kind of separate. They just naturally separate out.
Right.
And so for a long time, it's been that way. But I think the DBA program helps us to bridge that gap, because by bringing in people who are directly connected with the problems that they're trying to solve through their research, we have research which is relevant as well as impactful. So so that's very powerful in terms of the progression of the research enterprise of a business school.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say is there was a diffusion problem, right? I mean, the research that all these universities are creating is not diffusing rapidly or not diffusing at all.
What do you mean by diffusing?
Is not being adopted or being used, right? They're not putting it into practice. Right? Did I paraphrase that right?
Right. I mean, you guys have been in the industry for a while. How many academic journals have you read before joining the program?
That is a great question.
0. Maybe one or two. Yeah. Well, they cost money, right?
Right. And they're not easily accessible, especially outside academia. And then, yeah, people have no reason to look them up. So I mean,
Right.
so things have to change, with that.
Right. But I have to say that, with my consulting background, we in all the big five consulting companies, including, McKinsey's and the BCGs of the world, they do some amount of applied research, right?
Mhm.
So how is, or maybe this is a different topic altogether as to what the
No.
difference between applied research and what we will end up doing as PhD programs. So maybe the motivation is a little bit different. I think there we're trying to sell things versus here you're just doing research for the purpose of pure research. Would you say that's a good characterization?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little simplistic, but kind of it summarizes the main point. I mean, research in academia is, it's pure in the sense it's more rigorous.
Oh, okay.
So it's very scientific. You identify a problem, you try to find like deeper theories which can explain that problem, and then you propose the hypothesis, get your data and show the results. So that's the scientific process. But most of the time in the research that comes out of industry skips a few steps,
Okay.
which if you survey a group of people or a group of companies and then summarize your findings. So you're not really using any theory. I mean, it's not very clear what the generalizability is. You're doing a great job explaining a particular phenomenon, summarizing a phenomenon at that moment of time. But what can it be extrapolated to what goes beyond? I think you don't get that from
the applied research.
Do you think there's some potential almost danger to make those leaps that you're talking about? Like you're making decisions without all of the information, and now all of a sudden you've made a $1 million decision because you don't have everything in front of you.
I think it's the way business has evolved, and for most part, it works.
Yeah.
Right.
But and because again, the way I think our things are geared, the business is geared, is that you work for the next quarter, the next year, the stock price. So in that sense, there's little incentive to, look at the bigger picture in a more holistic way. But you just see what the trends are, what the short-term trends are, and go by those.
That's a great point. I think I didn't think about it like that. That all these applied research that all the consulting companies, industry is talking about, is really very topical. What's happening today, right? It's not really generalizing, to your point, Sunil, as you said, that research cannot be generalized. It is so focused on solving a problem.
But isn't there an inherent problem? Like academia is always a step behind, right? Or at least that's the perception. So how is that kind of the idea about the DBA program too, to kind of bridge that speed to academic research into the hands of businesses?
Right. Yeah, I think that's true as well. Again, the way the academic research process works, because of all the checks and balances, you can start a research project now, and if everything goes well, very smoothly, which by the way, 90% of papers are rejected.
Right. We're learning that.
Hopefully not our dissertations.
Yes.
Let's get those on the right side.
I know.
So even if everything goes well, by the time the paper will be published, it'll be no less than 3 years, 2 or 3 years at least.
Oh wow.
So there's something going on right now, right? The word fake news, right?
Right.
Big topic. So you have credible looking sources, and then you have credible sources. What's the distinction for the person that isn't in that world, right? Because you can get maybe an article about vaccines, right? There's a hot topic, or article about something. Your uncle shares you something, or your friend shares you something, and it looks legit, right? It's like the journal of whatever, right? Like, what do you think? How do we combat that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's
an interesting question, right? It's become so germane too. I mean, the source, can you trust the news sources that you're reading? Especially in this age where news is traveling at a supersonic speed.
Yeah.
Right? And people forward it to 2,000 people on WhatsApp and there you go. It becomes viral.
And then it's real. And then it's
real.
a fact.
It
right?
becomes a fact.
But I think businesses act on that, on those things, maybe unintentionally.
Probably, I would say. I don't know. It's a very good question, Sunil.
Right.
As to how do you figure out that you're getting not fake news, but it's trustworthy?
Yeah, I think that's a hard question, and I don't think there are any.
It's a whole
any,
podcast episode on its own.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, I'd actually done a podcast on fake news like a few years ago. But yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I think what we're seeing in the society is that, I mean, there's very few ground truths anymore.
Right.
I mean, previously, like before all the fake news and talk and all about that. I mean, there were some like ground truths which people generally believed in, that if like
the Earth is round. Oh well, maybe that's not one of them anymore.
Or if like if the FDA says something, it's science and it's trusted and all of that. So I think some of those things are like a lot of people question some of those things because there's so much information on the contrary.
Right.
And for most people, they don't distinguish between like what the source of the news is
versus,
and sometimes or even what the claim is, and if it's cherry picking, you're just cherry picking some stuff, or is it generalizable? So most people don't care to do that.
Right.
And I think there could be many reasons for that. It could be people try to follow the news which supports their existing viewpoints,
Right.
So it's in a way like it's become very gamified. Like,
right.
My news, my truth is better than your truth. And
coming back to the DBA and PhD part, I always had this question in my mind. Do you think, Sunil, the DBAs get treated as light PhD? Do you think there is that perception in the minds of people?
Like the eye roll?
Right. Right. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, well, obviously I can't speak for everyone, but I think the way it's intended is not a PhD light.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he's going to say it's like, come on? Like,
well, in terms of academia, right? And from an academic perspective, the rigor and the I get discipline. Would you say Sunil is the same as is the PhD program?
Right. I mean, the rigor is, I mean, definitely like the theoretical background and the rigor. I think we do follow all the steps.
Okay.
I think where the two diverge is kind of, I think the application, like what you do with the degree, like once you graduate, because the PhD program much longer, because the students are willing to put in those extra years because most of them want to go in an academic career, especially at least in good business schools.
Right.
Whereas in the DBA program, it and for that, like in a PhD, you would gear yourself to publish in those journals and wait those 3-5 years for the papers to hit and all of that before you start at the time you start your career. But for the DBA, I mean, I don't think that holds much, much value. I think the people come to a DBA program with many different motivations, and I think one of the most common I have seen is the desire to get more knowledge or look at the problems that you're facing in your work in a different way, and try to be more scientific about it and see how we can solve these problems.
So that is actually, I like that the motivation is very different. Right? Here you're trying to maybe PhD program is geared more towards academy, I guess. Whereas here in a DBA program, you're bringing in people, like me or Kevin,
Well,
who
let's-
come in at least 10, 15 years of
I'm
experience.
the one without the suit. I'm doing it wrong. Like, geez, and I'm hosting this
You are
thing?
hosting.
Gosh.
Yeah, the cool podcast look.
Yeah. Is that what I'm going for?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get. No, you're absolutely right. Well, it feels like there's got to be a lot of pressure
Mm-hmm.
in your role. You think about it as each cohort. You do the math. It's like $3-4 million, right, of funding that goes to the university. Everybody has different motivations, right, of what they're going to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you look at the ROI, like on a cohort basis for the program?
You mean for the DBA?
Yeah, for DBA.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do a better job of tracking the outcomes, and we too, like, we keep track of the publications of the students,
Okay.
Mhm.
and and whenever they publish, we highlight that. I think that's one metric for us. Like, are the students still being research active?
Right.
In fact, a few years ago, we started a program where people who graduate could still be part of the school and access all the libraries and the
Oh, wow.
journals
Oh, wow.
through a non-credit program with where you can just register for a minimal credit, but you can still be connected to your advisor.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
so I think that's definitely one part of it, is to be more scholarly active.
Mhm.
And that's also valued by other universities. Like, a lot of our faculty, a lot of our DBA students want to, at some point go and teach in universities.
Right.
And again, universities value that because of their accreditation requirements. They value the terminal degrees, and they value scholarly activity from all faculty, not only the tenure track faculty. So that's another metric for the program. And then it's also like a lot of people continue in their corporate jobs, but again, the DBA training gives them the ability to look at things in a more critical way, ask the right questions, think
Right.
more long term, like, instead of just how things work or why do they work this way,
Right.
and always question. So that helps in their business career as well.
Right. So I think there are a lot of ROI in terms of creating more research, which is absolutely can be used immediately.
I'm just thinking about what the meetings in the room look like when you
Mhm.
have conversations of, like, do we increase our cohort size? Do we decrease it? How do you make decisions like that, right? Because those are probably pretty tricky decisions, right? You have staffing decisions to go along with it. If you get too big, then all of a sudden maybe it's a washed out program that doesn't.
Kevin asking a really good question,
Right.
and I remember Sunil, you were talking about collaborating with one of the management schools back in India
Mhm.
to say that they also want to start a DBA program,
Right.
right? So obviously they are going through some of the stuff that Kevin is talking about.
Mhm.
In a meeting they're trying to decide.
Yeah, like, how do those get made? Yeah.
Yeah, how do they get made?
Take us into the
Right.
Temple University here.
Yeah.
Like,
All
I
the
don't
confidential
actually
stuff.
don't actually invite me in there because you'll kick me right out. But take us in the.
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the cohort size, I mean, we like deliberately try to keep it small. We don't want it to grow a whole lot
Mhm.
because again, it's a very resource intensive program. I mean, if it was any other program, I would always say, like, more. I mean, to some extent, more the better. Like,
When you say resourcing, staffing.
staffing, and well, not only the staffing, but I think the more important, the
admin support.
faculty.
Okay.
Because with every student, I mean, obviously you need to. I mean, with every cohort, you not only need to teach the classes, which is, I think, the easier part from a logistics perspective, but then managing the dissertations so you can imagine, for every student you need 4 faculty, with 3 on the committee and one
Committee and one the chair.
external reader. So at least 3, but technically 4. So
That's
yeah,
a lot of resources.
that is
It's a lot of resources. Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, we in most of our meetings we always say we don't want to grow beyond 30. I think 30 is our capacity, and we try to aim for that 25 to 30 number in the.
That's probably the sweet spot, even in terms of delivery. Right? How you do the classes and how they kind of engage with each other. I think the moment you make the cohort a little bit bigger, I think that whole personalization or goes away maybe.
Right. But I think, yeah, I mean, it depends. I think I would say from a classroom perspective, like looking at I've taught in our executive MBA programs as well. And I think a cohort size of like 40 to 50 is also manageable from a class perspective because, again, we do group work and, so the students still get the small group feeling, but they also get an opportunity to meet more people and make more connections. So I think that works out, but I think it's the dissertation part,
Right.
which
But it's
right.
one-on-one stuff that happens. I mean, the class, as you said, I picked up on that you said class part is the easy part, right? I'm like,
logistically, yes,
right?
Yeah, and work-wise,
Right.
the homework is the challenge in this program.
Right.
So
for sure.
There's one problem.
Uh-huh.
I have to say.
Okay.
You accepted somebody
Uh-huh.
that you shouldn't have.
Okay.
And it's me. Well, it can't be that good of a program if you're accepting this guy.
Even before the first term is over, Kevin is out here, revealing all the secrets of the cohort in progress. Right?
Hey, we're all in progress, right?
Trust me, you would have gone through at least one or two interviews. And
oh, yes.
So, yeah, it's...
I tricked somebody, didn't I? What changes do you want to see in the program? And what have you learned from other programs across the country?
So in terms of the changes, I think I would definitely... and one of the things we're working on is more globalization. So like this idea of bringing in students from having these connections with other programs or even starting joint programs with other schools in different parts of the world and at some level having our students interact with them, with those students maybe like even just once during their stay. So I think that would be great because I think the world is going global. So it's like kind of the business imperative to hear from other people what the problems they face, how they are addressing those problems. So I think that's definitely one of the things on my agenda, and we are actively working towards that.
That actually is a great thing. I mean, I think networking opportunities also increase when you are, bringing people from abroad or maybe even taking the class abroad, right? I mean, a little bit of like Amir is doing that. I know Cohort in Dubai for a week or so,
right,
as part of the program, and I think that's a great idea.
Right, and a lot of our DBA students have expressed interest in those immersions, and I think I was telling somebody that most of the students who go on the program are DBA students. Like there's only a few other master's students. So I think that's one. The other part, which I think some of the other schools are also doing, and in fact, I was talking to my friend at Georgia State. I think they have even a requirement, which is encouraging students to write more cases.
Oh,
because again, case study, I think it's a fabulous form of scholarship where you're taking a real world problem and explaining it in a way that there are key takeaways for in a classroom setting. So I think it would be great to have more of our DBA students. So in fact, we do have, since the last few years, we have seen a lot of interest among DBA students. In fact, I met a couple of students today. They're in the second year right now, and they won prizes for the cases they wrote. So,
what's an example of one of those cases? Do you remember?
One of the recent cases was on Red Lobster.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I do not know the details, but that was. So
Red Lobster is just going through a lot of the CEO. They just acquired a new CEO.
They went through a bankruptcy too,
they went through bankruptcy.
Yeah, not enough people eating the lobster rolls.
Right. I think why they went bankrupt. I think not to digress here, but
it's not a digression. It's a podcast.
I think one of the reasons was, didn't they have those endless shrimp or something?
Yes, all you can eat. Yeah,
all you can eat shrimp for a fixed price.
That did them in?
They totally killed them.
My God.
Seriously, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I wonder who was their main customer that just did them in,
I mean, people love shrimps.
People,
I guess.
All you can eat shrimp.
All you can eat shrimp. Can you believe that?
Huh.
That's
Was
amazing.
was it around like their comeback or what they had to do, or you
I
just
did not read the case, but
everyone? Yeah,
I
that's
saw
our
the
homework.
blurb. Yeah,
We have more homework now.
yeah.
Can you
Right.
believe it? I just gave ourselves more homework.
So good. I mean, those are actually nice changes,
Right, and
making it a little
also,
bit more globalized.
mhm.
Getting students to write more case studies. Your cohort. What else are you thinking about?
Yeah, and also
Sunil?
getting again, like I said, these are. It seems for most people they're two distinct. Like DBA is like a distinct part of the business or of the research enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So, like most of our, if you look at it, most of our academic conferences, like are mainly geared for the PhD style work. It's
Mm-hmm.
not, um, or most of the people who go there are PhD students. So, like the DBA, even if they would go, they feel out of place. Like one of our faculty who's also doing her DBA, Sherry, in the second year. So she had a paper accepted at the Academy of Management. So she went there last year. But I was talking to her. I was thinking that it would be great if the general academic societies were more
Welcoming.
welcoming in the sense it's not they discourage, but since the DBA programs are new, it would be great if they would proactively encourage the DBA students to join those societies and be part of and create special programming
Sure.
around. So since the Academy of Management next year is going to be in Philadelphia,
Oh wow.
so we're talking to them and seeing if we can create a separate track for just for the DBA program, or where
That's
or,
a great idea. That is
so-
a great idea.
I've always had that feeling a little bit of when you say you're in a DBA program, you have to explain it. And then
Right.
you kind of say, hey, it's like a PhD program, but it's not, for all the reasons we talked about. And by the time you have the explanation with somebody, the value is almost lost, or just like the background. It's more of like everyone knows a dissertation. So
Right.
I go to dissertation. Like
Right.
we'll have to do a dissertation.
Right.
We'll have to do research. So I think that's important to bridge that gap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So I want to rewind a little bit. We jumped right into the program,
Mhm.
right? But we didn't talk about you and
Mhm.
how you got here.
Uh-huh.
How'd you get here? Well, and why do you like research? Like what?
Yeah, tell
'Cause
us your
that's
story.
another thing. I don't think a lot of DBAs probably like research. It's just an ends to a mean, and it's your life.
Right. Yeah, I was a happy MBA at some point, working corporate.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, so, and this was around. Now I'm aging myself, but this was around the .com boom,
Right.
and I was into business development in technology, and you realize that a lot of the decisions that companies make do not seem very rational.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it firsthand that one day people were buying a ton of stuff, and next day, like it all, it was all gone. So that really got me interested in this topic of business value of IT.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it actually? How does technology really add value, and how can it be that if you are adding value, then it has to be lasting. You cannot
Right.
you cannot disappear the next day. So that got me thinking about issues around that.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point I said, okay, maybe that is the
path to
that
take.
is the path to, or at least to explore.
Right.
And at that time, I didn't have much clue about what a PhD or being in academia in the US would look like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to some extent, when I first started thinking about the whole thing, I thought, I've seen those consulting reports. I think I can write those. So
Right.
so that was my initial impression when I started thinking more about the PhD programs. And
Where'd you get your MBA?
that was in India
It was
before.
in India. Okay.
Yeah. And then I came to the US. I went to Carnegie Mellon and I did my PhD. And
Okay. Super. So
And
it's intellectual curiosity. Sounds like to me, I am translating, Sunil, whatever you want to call it, I am translating this intellectual curiosity propelled you to go do a PhD, right?
right.
And then, so how does your academic journey go? I mean, now
Uh-huh.
you are almost getting at the top of the profession here, being a dean and everything. How did that journey go about?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it the top, because in academia we say that if like if you are doing administration, somebody is forcing you to do it.
It's true.
But
I see.
but I like all aspects of my work. But again, coming back to my story, I think it's getting into research, and getting into hands-on into research, looking at getting more familiar with academic research and what it entails, and for some reason the rigorous, the careful deliberative process of doing research, that kind of appealed to me. So and I kind of stuck to it, and partly also because I like teaching.
Okay.
I used to teach in some form right from high school.
Okay.
So that kind of that desire to teach was always there. So
okay. Yeah, I can identify with that, by the way. I mean, I have done a lot of teaching even in corporate, right? All management consulting companies have their own schools, right? Like Accenture has a school at St. Charles and near London, Milton Keynes. So we send people out to 40 hours of school every time they get promoted or they want to be promoted, right? So there is a senior analyst school, there's a manager school, senior manager school, and the partner school, and that kind of stuff. So I identify with what you're saying, that you had that desire to teach,
right?
As part of your journey, I guess.
Yeah. No.
So what was where did you start teaching first when you got out of your PhD?
So I have been at Temple all along.
Oh, you've been at Temple. You're at Temple. So straight from CMU to Temple.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And what courses did you teach?
So I've taught different courses, but I started with the foundational course on information systems.
Okay.
So which is about, I mean, it's a great course because it evolves so much that every year you have to change your syllabus, and if you have a reading from 2 years ago, then people don't like, are you teaching us old stuff? But yeah, so it's a very exciting course to teach. Again, how technology is changing business, and what are some of the strategic implications of technology, in a business context. So that's the main objectives of the course.
Mostly undergrad or undergrad?
I mean, I started with undergrad. I've taught at all levels by now. I started with undergrad. I taught in a master's program. I've taught in the MBA program, in the executive MBA program. We had programs in Tokyo, Singapore, Philadelphia, and Bogota.
Oh wow!
Oh nice.
The Philly program is again, we are in the process of relaunching. So we admitted our first cohort in the relaunch program. So that's very exciting. So I have taught in the executive MBA programs as well, and of course the PhD programs.
And your favorite is?
I was just going to ask the question. I mean, having taught the whole breadth, I guess MBA is probably the young kids or whatnot. I can call them kids, I guess. Right. And then teaching the executive part, where people are coming in from the industry. They're a lot senior and older, I guess.
Right.
So what is it that you liked? Which cohort did you like the most?
I mean, I like the executive MBA program the most.
That's not the right answer.
That's not the right answer. No. You like to teach DBA the best.
But I've never taught the DBA program.
You never taught the DBA
you found the loophole in my sarcasm. Okay. What is it about that teaching them that you like the most?
I mean, it's more interactive because people come in with 10, 20 or plus years of experience, and they can, the topics that you're talking on, I mean, they can really enrich the discussion with a lot of examples and, practical real world scenarios. So you may be teaching them the basic or the frameworks, which is valuable for them. So, I didn't think of it, but then they can fill in the gap. They're very good at filling in the gaps. And then again, so sometimes I learn a lot from
Right.
from those interactions, but also I think the whole class also benefits. So
Right.
it's very. I mean, I think that's the exciting part is that it's very interactive if you put the right structure on it, and it's very enriching for everyone.
Right. I picked up on that. The fact that, that you provide the framework.
Mhm.
I am feeling it already. I think, Kevin, you were saying the same thing too, that now you are looking at everything that you say through the lens of the research.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I can't accept an answer anymore.
You
I
have to
can't.
question it.
Yeah, I have to question it, and I
Right.
have to look it up, and then I have to not just use what I've always gone.
Right.
Like it requires more. Absolutely.
Right. So that is definitely true. I think
Mhm.
the practitioners, like I can talk about myself as a practitioner,
Mhm.
I wasn't thinking about, let's say, upper echelon theory,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? I mean, I never thought about, there was no framework in my mind about
Right.
that. But you intuitively know.
Mhm.
And obviously, the senior leadership influences the culture at the firm.
Mhm. Mhm.
But this gives you a little bit of a framework, as you said. So that's an
Right.
interesting learning.
It's interesting because a lot of the academic research that we've read, I feel like there's a big so what, right? And there's still that.
Mhm.
And that's what I think this program is doing pretty well. Or maybe I'm trying to see if you agree with
Right.
this, but taking the academic research of hey, you were talking about your Airbnb
Mhm.
thing, Airbnb's impact on crime,
Right.
right? You have the findings, but now what do you do with the findings?
Mhm.
And maybe it's because I don't come from an academic background. I care more about the implications of that research.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
so what? What does that mean? Like, what?
Right.
How do we action off of that? Like, what do we
Mhm.
do? And so I think over time, I'm hoping that DBA programs kind of go more and more in that direction and have those influences.
I think it'll be very interesting for
Uh-huh.
general folks because we're aiming this to be for people who are interested in research, interested in DBA program.
Right.
It'll be very interesting to talk about some of the, interesting research that you've done.
Mhm.
Something
Mhm.
that Kevin was mentioning, you mentioned in the car drive
Right.
over here, the relationship between the crime and Airbnb. Right? It's a very captivating topic in my view.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about, if you can offhand think of, don't want to put you on a spot, Sunil, but if you can think of something interesting research that you came about, and it was counterintuitive what you found,
Mhm.
right?
Oh.
Like while you're thinking, I'll tell
Right.
you, there's a paper that I was reading about
The NFL?
Amir's research. The linguistic marking, in a language impact the way you think about genders,
Mhm.
apparently, right? Never thought of that.
Yeah.
I was really fascinated by that, even line of thinking.
And then
Mhm.
it's taken further of things about implications of board members, right?
Right.
And actions that boards take of environmental impacts just because we say I or we don't say I at the beginning of our sentences.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
It is totally wild.
Yeah.
And then, he had one of the hypotheses that even just one woman on the board completely changes the environmental strategy that the company is following.
Yeah.
Just one woman on the board does that.
Yeah.
So there are some of that things that research finds. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So
That's a great example. Yeah, I mean, then you can ask questions like, is it coincidental or is there something fundamental about having one woman on the board which impacts the way others react and stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Very interesting research.
Yeah.
So take us through. There's an article, not an article.
Uh-huh.
There's research you did, and
Mhm.
it's about the NFL,
Right.
right? And about people on their phones, or
Mhm.
something about that. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's
help me understand what.
I mean, it's interesting that sometimes the most of the questions that you research on come from your day-to-day experience.
Okay.
So one of the things, we notice that when we have mobile phone, everybody is in a state of distraction. You're on your phone when you're walking. You're on your phone when you're driving. Sometimes, which is
I'm sure we've
not
all
not
just
advisable.
us three have probably had the itch, right, to
Right.
check our phone.
Just go
I
check,
guarantee
check
it.
check my text messages.
Yeah.
Right. So we have our phone on all the time and we're distracted. We keep checking them or we're doing something and we're in a meeting and we're checking our phones or our emails. So So one of the things, and this seems very kind of counterintuitive for advertising, because advertising works on attention. And now when you know that people are distracted, how do you advertise?
Right. Mm.
So, and
Because you need to captivate them, right? For the
Right.
message. Okay.
right. And so that's what we set out to test, is that if we can create a distracted environment and test how people behave on this distracted environment and what is the effectiveness of advertising on these in such environments, I think that would be a great study. So that was the genesis of that study.
You were sitting on the couch. You were watching Jason Kelsey do the tush push, and you were on your phone and you missed something and you were like,
And you get an ad and you're wondering why are they sending me this ad?
Yeah.
Because I may not be even be on my phone,
Right.
So that's what we looked at. So we created an environment where we asked people to watch an Eagles game.
Okay.
And
was it?
Yeah.
The first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth. Do you remember?
I think the first quarter, but
Hopefully-
not the full game. Like maybe about 13 minutes in that game.
In the game. Okay.
Hopefully, like beating the Chiefs.
Beating somebody, yes.
Beating somebody.
But so we and then we also gave them a task to do on a mobile device.
Mm.
And on that mobile device, we also showed them some ads, right? I mean, traditionally, literature would say that if you're doing multiple things like multitasking, then your responsiveness to advertising actually decreases.
Decreases, right.
So you're saying they're watching a show on their phone?
They're doing a task on their phone. We
doing
give
a
them a
task.
small game to play.
Okay.
Right.
While the game is on in the background, like on TV or...
On the TV, there's a game, and you're on your phone doing this task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so we ask them questions about whether they are paying attention to the game, and we also measure their performance on that so the anagram. So how many they solved correctly.
Okay.
So a couple of things. So we found a couple of interesting things. So one, we found that being that although you're distracted, but whatever is playing on the TV has an impact on your responsiveness to the ads.
To the ad.
In the sense, if you're watching your ads on the mobile phone and they are related to something that's going on the TV, so you're more likely to click on those ads.
And that's intuitive.
That is to some extent intuitive, but also not very it wasn't shown in prior work before. Like, what is this cross device effect? But the other interesting effect was that, I mean, the more distracted you are, like the more you're watching the TV,
Mm-hmm.
the less is the effectiveness of your ad, or you're less likely to click on the ad.
It. Okay.
But in situations where you are more focused on the device and you're less distracted, you're more likely to click on the ad, which again goes counter to some of the multitasking literature, which basically says that if you're distracted, if you're focusing on a different task, then you don't pay attention to advertising.
Oh, okay.
But here we find that yes, if you add a third task to the mix.
Oh, wow. You guys are really making it complicated.
Right.
Yeah. So what happens if you add a third task?
So if you add a third task to the mix, like again, watching a TV, like the ad is a distraction, but then you have the task and you're another task going on out there, then you actually pay more attention then multitasking actually helps.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Right.
Okay. That is the counterintuitive part.
Right. So multitasking actually makes you pay more attention to the ads.
Wow. Would have never thought that.
Yeah. So that was very counter to
counterintuitive.
What did your study go into the reasons of why, or is it just like this was what we observed? And
I mean, theoretically, it's there's the concept called atomicity, which is based on there's a literature on dual task interference, like if you're doing multiple tasks, so how does, there's a lot of work on, like in the area of computer security, which is like if you're working on your computer and then you get a pop-up, a security alert, how likely are you to pay attention to that alert? So so again, it's the concept of atomicity is that you treat different tasks as a block.
Right.
So in this case, if you add one more task to the mix, then you're treating the primary task as and the interrupt as one block, and you pay attention to them together.
Okay.
So
Wow. There's some interplay going on there.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Do you think that these social media companies know about this already?
I'm sure they. That's a good question,
And
Kevin.
algorithmically kind of like, you publish this and, Mark Zuckerberg's like, ha, you're behind. Right? Like,
I mean, to some extent, we are seeing some, like applications already. You have, like companies are trying to figure out, like, say in location-based advertising, like like if you are in a stadium,
yeah.
then obviously you're more likely to watch a game. So then the advertising that they can serve is on the mobile device is likely to be congruent with the game.
Okay.
So,
But you're almost saying it's like if you were a social media company,
Mhm.
you almost would want to come up with distraction strategies,
Mhm.
right? Is that a fair statement of that work? Like, so if you know someone's at a game,
right.
like maybe the ad is I don't know, like something related, but if they can find one other method, like
Mhm,
maybe
mhm.
one ad is an intentional distraction, and then the next one you see
Right.
is something that you'll remember. So those ad slots will have different values, or
Right, and it also depends on what's going on. Like we also looked at the different types of what's going on the screen. Like is it a actual play going on? Is it a replay, or is it something in between, like
In between,
a
okay.
commentary?
well, in football there's a lot of downtime, right?
There is
Right.
a lot of downtime.
So did you look into that and like what happened like during huddles, versus like when they're actually at the line of scrimmage? Because I feel like that's when I look at my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if
Right. It creates kind of a little bit of a space there for you.
Mhm. I think that's why like football is the perfect American
Game for
or just
TV.
perfect game for TV
It's a-
now because we're distracted people.
Right.
We really are.
Right, and even like so, like companies actively try to predict what you're doing, and there's ways you can predict who is more likely to be watching a particular show on
Right.
TV.
Mhm.
So then, if they're doing something on the mobile device, you can predict, or they may also be watching a TV. So let me, now I know they're on the device. Let me serve them a particular type of an ad.
Maybe we don't even need prediction anymore, right? If you're Google, you've got Google, you have YouTube TV, right?
Right.
And then you're also owning a lot of the data flow, like
Right.
on your phone. So maybe it's simply like, hey, Saquon Barkley's got the ball. He's about to score.
Yeah.
Like the light, seriously, and then serve up the ad. Like the ad is getting
Kevin
ready
is
to be
so
served.
relentlessly focused on application.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love
research is
it.
fine, but what do I do with it? How do I put it into
Yeah,
ways
how
of
do we
making more money?
Make more money. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So-
no, and again, going back to the DBA program, that's the beauty of the program is we
Right.
want the results. Whatever studies you do, there has to be. We broadly like to think of research as 4 steps, like problem identification and the theory, the data and analysis, and finally the actual application.
Mhm.
And we are in academia or in typical business schools, we are good at the middle 2 things,
Right.
the theory and the analysis. But what the DBA program brings in is the 2 bookends,
Right. Right. That's a very nice way
the
of saying it.
problem identification and the application. So
Right.
so if we can, so again, so that's where, like to your earlier question about the DBA, like being the PhD light, and that's why I don't think it that way. I think it's very complementary to what we do in business school research. and kind of completes.
Yeah, no,
the
I totally
block.
get it now, Sunil. Seriously, I mean, in the sense that it has such a different applicability
Mhm,
that you really can't. You comparing apples to oranges almost,
mhm,
right? In my view, but I'm so glad to know that the theoretical rigor
mhm,
that we have in PhD is the same as in DBA as well.
mhm.
It's just that the motivation is different, the applicability is a little bit different. So I totally get it. It's definitely my conclusion. At least I am
Yeah.
concluded. It is not PhD.
We're one semester in. Like, let's.
So one of the interesting things we also do in the DBA program, and we've been doing that for a while, but we're kind of trying to do more of it and in a more intense manner, is to increase the interaction between the PhD and the DBA students.
Hmm.
So like in your second year, you'll see that in a lot of the residencies, and then even on the Saturday, the receptions and even the Saturday residencies, you have some PhD students will come in and present their work, and they'll sit there for the entire time and listen to your work. And we'll try to make a match with if there's somebody working on the similar topic. So the
Right.
idea is that if people can from different programs can collaborate, that'll be great
Yeah.
as
And
well.
I saw that in action. I think in my last residency, there were a bunch of PhD students.
Mhm,
I think they had come all the way from China or something,
mhm.
right? So and they were the PA. So I bumped into
We
them.
had some good. I think we were at the table.
Right.
We had good conversations about, like, wasn't it immigration or
Yes.
yeah, I don't remember the findings, but it was like like the F1 visas, right?
Correct.
Obviously a hot topic.
The
right now.
H1B visa.
H1B visas.
H1B
Yeah.
visa, yeah. So those PhD students were there. So I asked them as to which year are you? They said, I'm fourth year. I'm like, how's that possible?
Yeah.
DBA is supposed to be done in 3.
Yeah.
He said, no, I'm a PhD student. So
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying.
Something topical, right? Like, I don't know the details because it's kind of fresh and I haven't looked into it, but I'm seeing that there's like getting loans, federal loans for certain programs now are getting cut, right? Like, I'm sure you're up to date a little bit on that.
Research, you mean?
Yeah, like, isn't it like accounting? Like, you can't get federal funding for certain programs, I think.
Yeah, there's something going on there. I'm not very familiar with it. It's like what Harvard is fighting with the current
Well, you
administration.
got that going on too.
The research funds have been cut out for a lot of research.
So
That's a different problem with
That's a
the
different
Harvard. It's
problem.
more of the grants and the overheads that come with the grants.
Right.
But no, I'm not very familiar with the.
I guess the question is it seems like, and maybe it's not true, but it seems like our political climate is faster than ever and changes happen. How do you handle that as a dean? That has to be it has to be hard, right?
Yeah, yes and no. To some extent, we have to ask the right questions, like, say around things around student debt and, what, like, why is it high and what can we do about it? And again, we can even look at the micro level at the programs that schools offer. But I think that is like not part of the day-to-day conversation, but that's like more of a strategic initiative for the school. So for most part, it's especially, in some states there's been more oversight on schools, even on research, but I think I haven't seen much at least in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So those conversations are just kind of like strategic every year or so. Maybe you see where the current winds are going and try to make decisions. But I guess, yeah, you have to be fluid.
Yeah.
I think higher ed in general is a very exciting industry.
Yeah,
it is,
and it's like you said. I think it's exciting more than ever now.
Right.
We frequently have conversations about what is the future of work. What are we training our students for, and is there any way we can train them better? And I think we have moved past conversations like, should we be using Gen AI? It's a no-brainer.
We've gone like, what, 40, 50 minutes? And this is the first AI thing?
Right.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. But that's isn't that, I would think it's an 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
That academia is not, Sunil, I have to say this, that academia is not talking about. I mean, I don't know if there is clarity as
Mhm.
to how the students should be using it and how the academia should be using it as well.
Right.
So throw some light on that,
Yeah, no,
please.
I mean, there are definitely discussions, but I think at this point, everybody's in a state of learning and the positions are evolving. So that's why I said we are moved away from should the students be using it to like how should the students be using it.
Correct.
So I think that's the important part. It's a technology which adds tremendous value. Um, so I mean, again, it's definitely should be part of part of our tool set, and also it's something that you can only regulate something that you can control.
Control.
You cannot. I mean, no matter what rules or policies you have, if you have no way of controlling it, then you're doing a disservice both to the school and the students,
Sure.
because some people will follow, some will not follow, so it's kind of not fair. Um,
What's you talked about being around like the .com boom.
mhm.
Are there similarities that you've seen? Like, was your MBA around that time as well, the .com
Yeah, a little
era?
before that, yeah.
So have you seen like academic similarities? Because in class we've talked about right, Wikipedia at one point, right? Like
Right.
that you don't want to bring up Wikipedia when you like cite anything. And now like Wikipedia is actually not the worst source in the world, right? Or you can only have like one internet source, right?
Right.
And the rest had to be from the library. So I'm just curious if there's any parallels that you're seeing in the academic world.
I mean, not so much in the academic world, but like I think it's more so in the business. I sometimes think like, like with the .com, I mean, people just over invested, and that's basic human nature. So I always wonder like how much is the degree, what's the degree of over investment that we are seeing in
AI.
AI, and what's the, w- where's the value coming from, or where is it gonna come from? Because I mean, AI is, and I think like AI is like one of the most misused words, because it's such a broad
It's
term
just a
which
broad term.
means
Yes.
so many different things, so many different technologies, and again, the implications of each of those technologies could be completely different. So,
Right.
um,
I think most people hear AI and they just think ChatGPT, or they think,
I mean, mostly LLMs is what we are
Yeah.
dealing with. I think
Yeah.
the whole AI industry is focused, or at least that's where the investment seems to be going.
mhm.
It's all in LLM. Maybe a little bit in machine learning, which in my view, is what I call AI. Machine learning is AI. LLM, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's AI, which it's like really
Yeah.
guessing the next best word that'll come after another word, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Are we in a bubble? Like, I think we are. And, how much does ChatGPT or whoever else have to charge to get their money back? And is that sustainable? That's what's in the news right now.
Oh,
Right?
for
Right.
sure.
And
for
again,
sure.
it's like, I mean, it's, I mean, AI. It's the technology itself works on data, on information, and that's one of the first things I teach in my information class, is that it's never about the technology. It's always about the information.
Right.
What Because that's what business runs on.
Right. Information and not
And
technology is just an
technology
enabler.
comes and goes. Technology's
It is an
changed.
enabler,
So,
And now that information is accessible from everywhere.
right.
And is that maybe one of the changes? You have, big companies, big data, and now, the compute power to handle all that.
Mhm.
So maybe the data's always been there, just hasn't been centralized in a
Right.
way.
But
Right.
again, yeah. So to get that information, so there needs to be. I mean, it's like you have a tool which runs on information, but it's not getting the right information, because the information engineering that the company has done, like even if you have an enterprise system, but then you need a lot of the unstructured data to be able to fully leverage the AI
Right.
models, and even the even additional data that gets generated in the process of like in a call center, you have all the voice data that gets generated, or in a, if you're doing video monitoring, all of that data gets generated. So I mean, the more data you give it, the more richer, the
The experiences.
better the more the AI would be in prediction. But most companies don't have that infrastructure to
Mhm.
to build in those huge data streams to feed them to AI. And
Right.
so
Sure.
until that happens, and then also what is the AI going to look like? You have, like you had 30, 40, 50 years ago, or 30, 40 years ago, you had the enterprise systems. And before that, you had those islands of information, everybody doing their own thing.
Right.
So I think in AI, we are at that stage where everybody is doing their own thing. But I think the real value and scalability will come when we can
It's integrated into.
integrate it. All the agents talk to each other, all the data flows seamlessly. I think that
Right.
would be the ideal state.
That'll be really a great state. But bringing it a little bit closer home,
Mm-hmm.
how are you expecting the current cohort of
Mm-hmm.
students to use AI, especially in the DBA programs?
Mm-hmm.
What is allowed and what's not allowed?
Well, you want me to tell? Oh, well, yeah, maybe I should listen before I tell you what I do.
Yeah, no, I think we have an AI policy, which I think basically boils down to, I may be missing on some of the details, is like you have to disclose what you're doing with the AI. And also there's some caveats that, you may be using AI, but it's your work
Right.
at the end of the day. So you have to make sure that it's accurate, because at least the way the technologies are right now, I mean, they're prone to hallucinations and they
Right.
give you wrong references. So you don't want something going out in the world which has your name on it. And,
Right. It's all fake. You don't want that for sure.
Right. So I think that's where we are at this point. But like I said, there's no effective or very few effective ways of policing this stuff or
Right.
really finding out. So what we are trying to put together, hopefully in the spring, we should be able to do that, is to have a workshop where we can collate at least some of the best practices of using AI and introduce a few case studies on what are the real harms, like showing work with AI which is not appropriate, and giving some examples of what is right, what is not.
Okay.
So just to give students a first-hand information on what's the best way to use it. And it's not only the ChatGPT. I mean, there's so much potential for these AI tools to be used in other aspects of research, like even like data collection. Like you can do an A/B test with video, image, voice, and you can easily manipulate and create the treatment and the controls using AI technologies. So we hopefully try to bring some of those technologies as well as part of the workshop. In qualitative research, you have new tools or existing tools into building AI components, so which makes qualitative research also, more gives you more tools to do qualitative research. So again, some of those things, yeah,
they're in the pipeline, huh?
Right. I'm all for using AI in the right way. I think it's the future. It's just that we have to see what's best. We can put some guardrails and around it so that people use it correctly.
It's interesting. In one of our earlier courses, it was the amount of redacted journal articles and academic papers is like exponential, and it correlates to the emergence of AI. That's wild to me. And something that was interesting is, one of the ways I use AI is to find articles, right? And and then all of a sudden, like Gemini wants to tell me like everything about it. I'm like, no, I just wanted to find the articles and I want to do the work. But what's fascinating is I've noticed that those hallucinations are real, and some of them are still using redacted papers.
Oh, wow.
So, students could get in trouble all of a sudden, they're citing it. This is from Journal ABC, and then, professor looks it up and goes, that's not in there. Like, where did you actually get this from? Like, yeah, that's fake news. Circling back to that.
For sure.
Interesting.
Very interesting. The Holy Grail, I think summarizing journal articles, for example, is that a good practice? I just want to throw a few use cases.
Oh, rapid fire. Huh? Like rapid fire, yes or no? Yeah. Is this okay?
Summarizing a journal article to say, should I even be reading this whole thing? Tell me, is it
why not
germane to the topic that I'm trying to discuss or research? Right? I don't want to find that after reading 40 pages.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
I mean, I do it. I'm sure you do it.
Yeah, I think for that, I'll keep
You
waiting
just-
for the workshop.
But you don't want to go on mic on that one.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just that I wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't seem right in the sense it might give you some. I mean, for summarizing, I think like I have never used it for summarizing, but like especially journal articles. But I'm not sure how it would frame the references and whether how accurately it'll borrow or it will cite those references, because that's been the main problem. I mean, summarizing text, it's generally pretty good, but when it's text linked with a lot of references, how is it going to? I think it's
deal with all that.
yeah. I think I tell my students, like, for most of the papers, you can just read the abstract. You don't,
which is the summary.
That's true.
which is the summary.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, you don't have to throw it in anything. You just read the abstract.
Right, just print the first page
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
Type it in ChatGPT and then just read the abstract. Just don't even do it.
Sure.
Sounds like research is at an inflection point. So it's a fascinating world.
It has definitely made it easier for sure.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know if I shared this with you, Sunil. My wife is a PhD from Temple, right? And she looks at me when I'm doing this, and she's, of course, graduated in 94.
Right.
So she's like a super senior PhD. And she's like, you have no idea. In when I was doing my PhD in 94 in Temple, I had to go to the library, photocopy all that stuff, bring it back, and now you guys can find research articles in a second.
We just lost an entire demographic of listeners.
We did.
Yeah, library.
I know. Library. I know.
Yeah.
They just don't go to library.
No.
No, but actually, that's interesting. Like when Temple built some of its spaces, when I first came here, it was we had just built a tech center, and now a few years ago we built a library. And you would think that, like, even a tech center, like, who needs a tech center? And it's all laptops, and why would
Yeah, that's a good point.
But surprisingly, you would see that now a lot of these physical spaces have become more like social spaces where people still go. I mean, you can see our library. There's like,
Whoa.
lot of students there. You can go to a tech center. There's a lot of students there, and they have curated some meetings rooms, some social spaces where just students can go, and they're working, but at least they can work in a group. And
Right. I think it's that Starbucks that created the third place.
Yeah.
Right? Your home, your office, and the third place.
Yeah, there's
the
a
concept of
library close to me, and we take our son there, and it has like a jungle gym and all this, but and then books and stuff and learning around it. So it's just defining it differently. All right. We haven't been very structured, but we're coming to the end.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've looked at these, but we're gonna call it the final residency. Right? This is our outro.
Okay.
And it's good you don't know these questions. It's gonna be 5 one-word answers.
okay.
And we'll end on that. And-
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we'll start here. I'll start with my answer, and we'll go around and we'll go to the next one.
Okay.
All right. Most evil social media platform.
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. I'll go Facebook.
TikTok.
Okay. Pizza. Pineapple, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Okay.
no, right?
All right. This is a tricky one. It takes some thinking. Something in your field that you're willing to, like a hill in your field that you're willing to die on.
Oh. That is a tough one.
I haven't thought about this one either.
That is a
So
tough one.
anyone jump in when they think of one.
I mean, impact. I mean, I am all for doing relevant, relevant research, current relevant research, which has an impact, and no matter where it comes from. Like, again, I mean, like, even in school, like, whether it's from a PhD program, a DBA program, even from a faculty perspective, is it a tenure track, non-tenure faculty? I mean, if you're doing good applied research, I think should be like
The holy
rewarded
grail.
and valued.
Mm. I would say something adjacent to it. In my mind, I think multiplier effect. Whatever I want to do, I really want to have it. It should have a multiplier effect. right? Like when I quit my corporate job 5 years back and my wife was asking me, what are you going to do? Yeah, well, I can go and volunteer in a soup kitchen. I will feed somebody, but does it have a multiplier effect? Right? So I'm like, I want to coach and mentor small startups, because if the startup is successful, it changes the person's life and his family's life. It has a multiplier effect. Right? 1 hour of my time can give so much more output for the person that I'm mentoring. So I think you're saying the same exact thing, similar thing. I think in terms of impact, right? We want to make an impact.
I'm willing to die that it's so important to continually learn. Right?
Oh, sure.
And obviously that's what we're here doing. But, the moment you stop thinking is the moment you stop being creative, and the moment you maybe don't like your desk job anymore.
Right.
So that's my go-to is learning. These are good. That one was a good one.
That was good.
All right, 2 more. One line of advice for doctoral students, and Ashwini for you and I, prospective doctoral students.
I think we should start with the expert first.
Sure.
One line of advice.
One piece of advice.
If you can sum it up in one line, tough job.
Do what you like doing. It's especially, that's my line, but I can expand on it as well.
Yeah, please.
It's especially with the doctoral program, it's it's very intense. It can have tremendous ups and downs. Like one hand you feel very euphoric for no reason actually sometimes, and for other times you feel down for no reason.
Right.
Because research is so unpredictable. So do it only if you like. If you
do what you like to do.
Do what you like to do. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with take the plunge. I was skeptical, and maybe I should be skeptical before I submit my money, but take the plunge, right? Like there's a lot of what is it when you feel like you don't fit in? What's the phrase? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Totally had that the first residency, but then all of a sudden you start realizing you're here for this certain reason. Everyone else around you is doing it, so I would say take the plunge. Don't be afraid.
Sure. I would say stay with it. Right? Just stay with it.
Yeah.
It gets tough. It gets you ask questions as to why are you doing it? This is the best thing I can do. Is this the best use of my time? Because we all have finite time on this planet Earth. Just stay with it.
So stick with it. All right, and then I gave an audible here. Back to that NFL reference. Philly cheesesteak, whiz or no whiz?
Definitely whiz.
Definitely whiz.
I've never had it with whiz.
You never had it with whiz?
No, I've only had one true Philly cheesesteak.
Okay.
So, Sunil, it's been an honor. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. It's amazing you guys are doing it, and I'll look forward to
more discussions.
More discussions, definitely, but also seeing more episodes of your podcast. Good luck with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being number one.
I have to add...
it's my honor,
to Kevin, word of thanks. Thank you very much, Sunil. Totally appreciate it for starting us off. Yes, remember, you started this fire here.
That's right.
You will see it going wild in a short while.
Yeah,
that's right.
I like the multiplier effect. Let's hope for the multiplier effect.
Let's hope for the multiplier effect. Great job. And Kevin, we have to thank you. Kevin is the mastermind, by the way. Yeah. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for Kevin. So he's the one who started the idea. Right? You need the partnership so that you can keep people motivated. Right? Keep them honest.
Yeah. So hopefully we provide value to not only the academic world, but let's do what we can and provide value to everybody. And that wraps up episode number 1. Stay tuned for the next one.